there, welcome back. Today I'm talking about the President's Analyst, which is a what the hell is this? You know, film extraordinaire. Because there's no other way to talk about this film is apart from what the hell is this? This is insane. This film is nuts. And it's a satire and it's a weird 60s film when James Coburn was a film star where he was doing In like Flint, Never Man Flint, and he was doing these weird films. And he did this one, which did not do well. It was too weird for the mass audience. And it is very flawed. The pacing wise, it's all over the place. I mean, tone wise, it's all over the place. That becomes a joy of the film, it's all over the place. It's got lots of weird stuff going on, always. Sometimes it's paced better than others. But it is episodic, and it could have done with a better director. Like, it's one of those films that feels like it's 20 minutes too long. And it's not like there's things needing cut so much, it's more like it just needs a better director who could have focused it more and they could have joined sequences together better that would have made the point quicker and would have clarified what the tone of the film was easier. The big problem is the direction. Direction is just blocky and doesn't quite know how to, place the film. Really, that's just the basic problem with the film. I mean, the guy who wrote it, Theodore J. Flicker, directed, and he needed a better director. He needed someone to come in and direct it and pull it off. It just wasn't directed great. But it is wonderfully weird. The ideas are great. It's just the direction's kind of stiff. But so basically, Coburn plays this analyst, a New York analyst who is chosen because of how professional he is to be the analyst to the president, because the president's very stressed and he needs an analyst to talk to when he's really, really stressed. So to do this, he has to give up all his other clients because he can't be someone who, because he knows his secrets, but also because he has to be on call all the time for the president because he can't just have a set time to talk to him. It's like, so of course Coburn thinks it's an honour. He doesn't realise it's a horrible job that no one should ever want. He doesn't realise he's been completely suckered into this job. So, because no one else wants the job. Because everyone else knows it's stupid. And there's some fun stuff in the start with Coburn being an analyst and how easterly he is and how it's just a total Mickey take out of analysts and the whole 60s, self-indulgence, but going to the 70s and 80s. Like, analysts are always a prime thing of parody, and this film just goes for it completely. But it's not, that's just the early parts. I mean, mostly it's about Coburn being on the run, the spy movie, because basically after about 20 minutes, he and his girlfriend moved to Washington. They don't like his girlfriend because she's different interests and all the rest of it. So she can't live with him, so they have to arrange for them to meet up at certain places. So he's very kind of dislocated. He's feeling dislocated. He's getting worn out by the president always calling him. So he can't go out anywhere because anyway the president until he needs him, he has to go back. And at a certain point, he goes nuts. It's like, I have to get out of here. That's a horrible job. But he can't get out because he knows secrets. So no one's going to let him leave. And he realises he's trapped. So he escapes by hiding with a bunch of tourists who are going through the White House and join them in a car and go into their house. And at this point, the film becomes about various agencies. Like the Russians want him, the CIA want him, the FBI want him, the FBI want him dead. Some of the CIA want him alive to bring him back. It's like various people want. Some people trust him, some people don't. So the various points of view of what to do with him. And she has to try and hide out. So first off, he thinks he's getting away from the place with a family who look normal, but turns out to be gum nuts, and it shows you how crazy the middle classes are. So then he escapes from that, and escapes from assassins who are after him. Well, he's with them. And then he joins his band who are hippies. And while he's enjoying that, he gets kidnapped and taken to a Russian ship. And there's a whole bunch of back and forth of people trying to kidnap him. And, it turns out that the villains are really the phone company who are going mad for control. And it's just an insane mess. So they're trying to make it the hippies, trying to make it the middle classes, trying to make it the Russians, and they're very, because the Russian guy is a complex with his father who's domineering and powerful. You've got the agent that recruited him who also likes him as a shrink because he helps him talk about certain things that's still weighing on his mind. You've got lots of different stuff. Kidnapping, counter-kidnapping, different sides, kidnapping back and forth, and it turns out his girlfriend was a spy after all, and a whole bunch of stuff. And it's all fun, but the problem is, again, the direction's pretty flat-footed. And also, there's not enough twists in the middle, because they're setting it up as a crazy comedy of going back and forth with all these people after him. And then they only have 2 or 3 instances before you get to the ending, and it's like, you needed 2 or 3 more. It needed to be crazy. You need to really sell the crazy in this, and they don't really do it. They needed to really ramp it up. I need a confident director who could have said to them, look, you need more crazy stuff in the middle here. Because the thing with the commune and the hippies lasts too long. The thing with the gun in that family lasts too long. The thing with Coburn going mad as an analyst lasts too long. Each thing feels like you've got the joke and it's time to move on. And you've got that joke again for another 3 or 4 minutes before you move on to the next thing. And it's like, this film should have been shorter, or should have more instance. But probably should have more instance just to set the world up as even crazier and show you how difficult it was for him. Instead, you're getting bits and bobs of things, and nothing quite feels like nothing feels developed, even though everything lasts too long. So if they developed to these situations more, you could have done something interesting. But nothing's really developed beyond the initial joke, and then having variations in the joke. But it doesn't develop into anything that's even crazy. It just develops into something that's a similar joke. And the film has that kind of feel throughout. It's like, you're not really living up to potential. This is a film that could be remade if you get a mad director doing it. You could do something really fun with this. Because the situations are crazy, the characters are all crazy, it just needs more, it needs a quicker pace just to get to it. And it's annoying because James Coburn's perfect as Analyst. He's perfect because he can fit in with anybody to put him with. Any crazy conspiracy theory, he's got this calm, cool reaction to it that works. It's just the film doesn't live up to the potential of having him as the lead. It's not as good as it should be. And that's very frustrating because the film does have lots of good stuff. And there's lots of memorable stuff in it. I can remember this. I watched this about 2 months ago. I can remember so much about it. It's just that it's also a slog. so it's a sort of good film, but also sort of a slog at the same time. It's just that kind of frustrating film. And it didn't do well, so that was the end of that director. Honestly, apart from doing TV movies and stuff. And it's like, well, you didn't lose much from a director, but you lost something as a writer. You could have done some cool stuff. That's where the frustration comes, really. This probably could have been a hit if they'd actually made it really good. If they'd actually hired someone who was very clever. I mean, Richard Lester would have been perfect for this film because he would have expanded it and made it crazier. And made it, the instance, more detailed. Like, he would not have let it bogged down as much in certain places. Because if you look at his films in the 60s, they move really fast. And this film doesn't move, and that's what really lose out on is like, Lester was doing stuff in this period, like, How I Won the War, and Petulia, and all that stuff. He'd have been perfect for this film. He'd have made it something really good. And if the cast was perfect, it was just the director and the writer never really lived up to their own potential. It's just kind of frustrating. It's a frustrating film. But it's still worth watching though. You still really should watch it because it is, the good stuff is really good. It's just that you need some patience because it's just so repetitive. I'm not going to say much more because I feel the review will become repetitive if I keep going. Because I'll just complain about the bad stuff. But there's a lot of fun stuff in here. It's just that you need to have some patience. And all the good stuff you remember. The good stuff's really memorable. It's just that it needs more. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would say go see it. It's one of the films in this series I would say go see. Because it is weird and it is like, how did they get it made? It's like, who was doing what to get this film made? Because it is really satirizing the CIA and the FBI and everyone else. And the Russians. It is taking a mickey out of them. But it could have gone so much more. So that's me. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.